What if I told you that right now, somewhere in the ocean, an egg is hatching, but it's not round, it's not smooth, it's a corkscrew, a twisted spiral, frozen in time, like something carved by an alien architect. You've seen bird eggs, chicken eggs, maybe even reptile eggs, but nature doesn't play by the rules you think you know. In the next few minutes, you're going to see eggs that glow in the dark, eggs that look like transparent jellies with beating hearts inside, eggs that defy gravity, eggs that shouldn't exist. And by the end, everything you thought you knew about how life begins is about to change. Let's go. Before we dive into the impossible, we need to talk about what's normal. When you picture an egg, what comes to mind? Oval, right? Smooth shell. White, or maybe speckled brown. That's because for most of us, eggs mean breakfast. But here's what they don't teach you in school. Eggs are the oldest technology on Earth. Not human technology, life's technology. 300 million years ago, before dinosaurs walked, before flowers bloomed, the first amniotic egg appeared, and it changed everything. See, before eggs with shells existed, life was trapped in the water. Every living thing had to return to ponds, rivers, oceans, just to reproduce. Their eggs were vulnerable, soft, unprotected, but then evolution cracked the code. The hard-shelled egg, a portable ocean, a life support system, a survival pod that could exist anywhere, desert, mountain, forest floor. This wasn't just an adaptation. This was a revolution, and it let life escape the water forever. But here's where it gets interesting. Once nature invented the egg, she didn't stop experimenting. Different environments demanded different solutions. Different predators required different defenses. And over millions of years, eggs became weird. Some became transparent. Some became toxic. Some developed shapes that seemed to break the laws of physics. Now you might be thinking, why does the shape of an egg even matter? Great question. Because shape isn't random. Shape is survival. A round egg on a flat surface, it rolls, falls off cliffs, gets crushed. But an asymmetric egg, it rolls in a circle, stays safe. Every curve, every texture, every color, it's a solution to a problem that's been thousands of generations in the making. So, when you see an egg that looks impossible, remember this: it's not impossible, it's necessary. And the 5 eggs we're about to explore, they're not just weird, they're windows into evolution's most creative solutions. Let's meet the first one. Picture this: you're in the Costa Rican rainforest. It's night. The air is thick with moisture and the sound of everything. You shine your flashlight on a leaf hanging over a stream, and you see something impossible. Eggs, but not like any eggs you've ever seen. They're transparent, completely see-through, like tiny glass spheres filled with life. And inside each one, a beating heart, developing eyes, growing limbs. You can watch the entire process, creation in real time. These are glass frog eggs, and they shouldn't work. Think about it. Every other egg in nature hides its contents, shells, pigments, protective layers, because predators are everywhere. But glass frog eggs, they're naked, exposed. So why would evolution design something so vulnerable? Here's the twist. The transparency is the defense. When predators hunt, they look for contrast. Dark against light. Solid shapes against backgrounds. But a transparent egg on a leaf? It disappears. The green of the leaf shows through. The embryo inside looks like part of the leaf's vein structure. Camouflage doesn't mean blending in. Sometimes it means becoming invisible. But here's what really blows my mind. The placement. Glass frogs always lay their eggs on leaves, hanging over water. Always. Why? Because when the tadpoles hatch, they drop straight down into the stream below. It's a delivery system evolved over millions of years. The egg is the incubator, the leaf is the launch pad, and gravity does the rest. But that's just number 5. And trust me, it gets stranger. Let's go deeper. Literally. Imagine you're diving off the coast of Australia, 30 feet down. The light is fading to blue-green, and tangled in the kelp forest, you find something that looks like it was designed by H.R. Giger. A twisted, leathery corkscrew, dark brown, almost black, with tendrils spiraling out from all sides. This is a shark egg, but not from the sharks you're thinking of. Great whites don't lay eggs, neither do hammerheads or tigers. They give live birth, but their cousins, horn sharks, swell sharks, Port Jackson sharks, they lay eggs, and the shape is everything. That corkscrew design, it's a locking mechanism. When a female shark lays this egg, she doesn't just drop it on the ocean floor. She swims into crevices, between rocks, into coral formations, and she screws the egg in. Literally, those spiral flanges catch on everything, lock into place, and once it's in, it's not coming out. Ocean currents can exceed 20 miles per hour. Storms churn the sea floor. Predators prowl. But that egg, it stays put for 6 to 9 months. Now here's the part that kept me up at night. Inside that leather case, there's no yolk like a chicken egg. Instead, there's a developing shark pup with a yolk sac attached, yes, but also gills. The baby shark breathes inside the egg. Seawater flows through tiny pores in the case. Oxygen in, carbon dioxide out. It's breathing underwater, before it's even born. And when it's finally ready, the pup doesn't crack the shell. It unscrews itself, pushes through the sealed end, swims free, leaving behind an empty corkscrew that divers call mermaid's purses. Nature built a submarine, a pressurized chamber, a fortress that breathes, and it did it 300 million years before we invented the submarine. Leave a comment right now. Have you ever found a mermaid's purse on a beach? Because if you have, you held evolution in your hands. We're halfway through, and things are about to get impossible. The next egg we need to talk about breaks the rules of engineering. Hummingbirds, the fighter jets of the bird world, wings that beat 80 times per second, hearts that pump 1,200 times per minute. They live at the edge of what's biologically possible, and their eggs, they reflect that impossibility. A hummingbird egg is smaller than a tic-tac, half an inch long, weighs less than a gram. But here's the engineering miracle. That egg has to contain everything needed to build a bird that can fly backwards, hover in place, navigate at speeds up to 60 miles per hour. The energy density inside a hummingbird egg is higher than almost any other egg in nature. Gram for gram, it's packing more calories than chocolate, more fat than butter. Because when that chick hatches, it has 3 weeks. 3 weeks to go from blind, featherless, helpless, to a fully operational flying machine. That's not growth. That's transformation. But here's what makes these eggs truly impossible. The nest. Hummingbirds build the smallest nests in the world, about the size of half a walnut shell, made from spider silk, lichen, and plant down. And they attach them to the thinnest branches possible. Why? Because predators can't reach them. Snakes can't climb branches that thin. Squirrels can't balance. But there's a problem. Those branches move. Every breeze, every rainstorm, the nest swings, tilts, and the eggs, they should roll right out, except they don't. Because hummingbird eggs aren't round. They're elliptical, one end slightly more pointed than the other. And that shape creates a low center of gravity. When the nest tilts, the egg doesn't roll. It rocks and settles back, auto-stabilizing. Evolution didn't just solve the predator problem, it solved the physics problem at the same time. And here's the detail that haunts me. The mother hummingbird sits on these eggs for 14 to 16 days. Her body temperature is 105 degrees Fahrenheit. But she can't stay constantly. She has to leave to feed every 10 to 15 minutes because her metabolism is so fast. She'd starve if she didn't. So the eggs cool down, heat up, cool down, heat up. And yet, the embryo survives, adapts to the temperature swings. These eggs are teaching us something. Life doesn't need perfect conditions. It needs resilience, the ability to adapt to chaos. And speaking of chaos, we're going back to the jungle. But this time, everything is deadly. Poison dart frogs, some of the most toxic animals on Earth. A single frog carries enough poison to kill 10 grown men. But here's what's strange. They're not born toxic. The eggs, completely harmless. The tadpoles, harmless. The young frogs, harmless. The poison comes from their diet. Ants, mites, beetles, loaded with alkaloid toxins. The frogs eat them, store the toxins in their skin, become walking chemical weapons. But the eggs, they have a completely different problem. Most frogs lay hundreds of eggs, thousands even. It's a numbers game. Most will die, a few survive. But poison dart frogs, they can't do that. They live in the rainforest canopy, 30, 40, 50 feet up. There are no ponds, no streams, just leaves. So they lay their eggs in tiny pools of water, trapped in the curves of leaves, in tree holes, in bromeliad plants. Sometimes just a few tablespoons of water. And here's where it gets incredible. The female doesn't abandon the eggs. She visits them every single day. Why? Because those tiny pools don't have food. No algae, no insects, nothing. So when the tadpoles hatch, the mother does something extraordinary. She lays unfertilized eggs, specifically for the tadpoles to eat. She feeds her children with eggs. This isn't instinct. This is care. Each tadpole gets its own private pool, its own supply of food eggs, personal delivery service for 8 to 12 weeks until they metamorphose. But here's the truly mind-bending part. If the mother dies, the tadpoles die. There's no backup plan, no alternative. This species evolved to depend entirely on maternal care. It's the opposite of most amphibians. Most lay eggs and leave. But poison dart frogs, they invested everything in quality over quantity. And it works. Their survival rate is exponentially higher. Leave a comment. Would you rather have 1,000 children with no support, or one child you protect with everything you have? Because evolution has tried both strategies. We've arrived. The weirdest egg in the world. And it comes from the weirdest animal in the world, the platypus. When European scientists first saw a platypus specimen in 1798, they thought it was a hoax, a joke. Someone had sewn a duck's bill onto a beaver's body, because nothing about this animal makes sense. It's a mammal that lays eggs. It has fur, but also a bill. It produces milk, but has no nipples. The milk just seeps through pores in its skin. And the males? They have venomous spurs on their hind legs, the only venomous mammal. The platypus is what happens when evolution has a fever dream. But the eggs are the key to understanding why this animal is so impossible. Platypus eggs are tiny, about the size of a large jelly bean. They're not hard like bird eggs. They're leathery, soft, sticky, and the female lays them deep in a burrow, sometimes 60 feet from the water's edge. In a nesting chamber, she digs herself. She lays 2 eggs, sometimes 3. Then she seals herself in, blocks the tunnel entrance with dirt, and waits for 10 days in complete darkness, curled around her eggs. She doesn't eat, doesn't leave, just keeps them warm. But here's the evolutionary puzzle. Mammals don't lay eggs, except 5 species. The platypus and 4 species of echidnas. That's it. These animals are called monotremes, and they're the last survivors of an ancient branch of mammal evolution 200 million years ago, before dinosaurs went extinct, before whales returned to the ocean, before humans existed. There were mammals that laid eggs, and the platypus, it's a living fossil, a window into what mammals used to be. But here's what makes the egg truly impossible. When the baby platypus hatches, it's not like a bird chick or a reptile. It's incomplete, blind, hairless, the size of a lima bean. It's more helpless than almost any newborn mammal because it hatched too early. The egg couldn't support development any longer. Not enough yolk, not enough space, so the mother shifts strategies. She nurses them for 3 to 4 months, even though she has no nipples. The babies lap milk from her skin. The egg is where reptile evolution and mammal evolution collide. It's a compromise, a bridge between 2 worlds. And scientists still don't fully understand why the platypus kept egg-laying when every other mammal abandoned it. Maybe it's the aquatic lifestyle, maybe it's energy efficiency, or maybe evolution doesn't always move forward. Sometimes it just finds what works and sticks with it for 200 million years. So, 5 eggs, 5 impossibilities. But what does it all mean? Here's what keeps me awake. Every single one of these eggs is a solution to a problem we've never had to solve. How do you protect your offspring when you have to be transparent? How do you anchor yourself in a current that never stops? How do you build a fortress that weighs less than a paperclip? How do you raise children when there's no food? How do you bridge 2 different forms of life in one fragile package? We think of eggs as simple, fragile, primitive even. But they're not. They're engineering marvels. Each one is a statement about what life values most. The glass frog values invisibility over armor. The shark values anchoring over mobility. The hummingbird values speed over size. The poison dart frog values quality over quantity. The platypus values adaptation over perfection. Yeah, and here's what that tells us. There is no perfect way to survive. There's only your way, the strategy that fits your environment, your threats, your resources. We've domesticated the chicken egg so thoroughly, we forgot that eggs are strange. They're supposed to be strange, because every egg is a bet, a gamble that evolution is placing on the next generation. And the fact that these 5 eggs exist means the bet paid off for millions of years. But here's the part that changes everything. Right now, all 5 of these species are under threat. Climate change is shifting shark breeding grounds. Deforestation is destroying glass frog habitats. Hummingbird migration patterns are disrupted. Poison dart frogs are losing their canopy homes. Platypus rivers are drying up. These eggs evolved over millions of years to solve specific problems. But evolution is slow, and the world is changing fast. The question isn't just, aren't these eggs weird? The question is, will these eggs still exist for your grandchildren to marvel at? Because once they're gone forever. You can't unextinct something. You can't reverse 200 million years of evolutionary engineering. That beating heart you saw in the glass frog egg, that's not just a tadpole. That's a lineage, a survival strategy, a library of genetic information. That took epochs to write. And we're the generation that decides whether it continues. So, we've journeyed through transparency and corkscrews, through anti-gravity and poison and living fossils. But I want to leave you with one question. If evolution spent 300 million years perfecting the egg, what other impossibilities are hiding in plain sight? Drop a comment right now. Which egg surprised you most? Was it the glass frog's transparency, the shark's corkscrew, the hummingbird's microengineering, the dart frog's maternal care, or the platypus's ancient compromise? And here's the real question. What other animal do you want me to investigate next? Because nature's vault of impossibilities is deeper than you think. Next time, we're diving into animals that can see colors you didn't know existed, survive the vacuum of space, and shapeshift in real time. Hit subscribe if you want to keep falling down this rabbit hole, because trust me, we're just getting started. The world is stranger than you were taught, and I'm here to prove it. See you in the next one.